Hey there, and welcome to Faction Focus Thunder Happy. We're going to be checking out the Thunder Happy Pharmaceutical Company's heavy hitter and everything that it can do.
Thunder Happy is a long-ranged whittler who will whittle you away before you know what's going on if you're not too careful. If they are all missiles, you need to underrun them, getting close. Otherwise, you might find yourself gone before you know what's happening. But do watch out, because they've got a lot of things that will sabotage you before you get a chance to do whatever it is that you want to do.
These are the faction with the longest range, highest damage weapon in the core set. The only other faction who has a weapon with the same range is Hammer Strike, and that's their hit and run attack. But hit and run only does 4 damage, whereas these guys do 6 damage, with a possible 7 if you're at the most extreme range possible. This faction only has one energy weapon between the primary and secondary weapons at their disposal, so if you are fighting against them, do consider ballistic and missile defense cards, as this faction's primary weapons are always going to be ballistic or missile based.
Primary weapon focus.
For your primary weapons then, you have lots of long range damage with Surgical Strike and Thunder Strike missiles, both offering you the opportunity to get a possible 7 damage. In this respect, Thunder Strike missiles are very reliable at long range, but Surgical Strike has a lower minimum range and could suit your playstyle a little bit better depending on whether you're playing tactically with your support units or not. Then we have the Electric Punch, which allows you to start messing with your opponents at a decent range, and also the Chain Gun. The Chain Gun does decent damage and you can put it at the bottom of your deck if you manage to do 3 or more damage. However, putting more than 2 copies of this on the bottom of your deck is risky, as you don't want a handful of primary weapons that you cannot fire because you have so many of them.
Secondary weapon focus.
Secondary weapon systems then. You've only got one energy weapon in the entirety of your arsenal, which is Lightning Strike. However, it is the second fastest heavy hitter weapon in the game, and it also has a 50-50 chance to reduce enemies' energy level for the next round. But it's only range 2. Continue to mug your opponent with the Super Sancho in order to steal sponsor cards. Point Defense Missiles, a slightly confusing card for me. It took a little while to find anything online in terms of FAQs. But it would seem that this functions as up to 3 targets. You always make a dice roll for each missile attack, so even if you choose only 1 target, that's 3 dice rolls, 1 damage per successful hit. In addition to this, if you have 2 targets, you must declare which is taking 2 missiles and which is taking 1 before rolling the dice. So it's great for attacking multiple targets, i.e. support units. Maybe not so great for hitting single units because you'll be having to repeatedly make rolls to hit, which may or may not succeed. The Pill Popper, for in case you miss. It does 1 damage to adjacent units if you miss, and it's great for starting to whittle down that repair unit that your opponent is keeping adjacent to their heavy hitter. The Paint Gun, for taking advantage of your opponent's positioning. But its effect is unreliable. All too often 1 save comes up, so the 2 damage doesn't often occur, and on 5s and 6s there's rolling 2 saves. There is like a 60% chance or 66% chance of success and avoiding the paint gun taking effect, so it's not reliable as a strategy. And being only 2 damage, it's maybe not the best choice. However, at range 1 to 3 it has some uses.
Synergizing.
The only real card synergy for Thunder Happy is the Mugger, aka the Pharmaceutical Fiend, or the Crack Fiend, or the Dope Fiend, or whatever you want to call them. They're just a fiend. Hitting you up with the primary weapon, the Electric Punch, is to mess with their hand as much as possible, causing them to put faction cards at random back on top of their deck, so you could sabotage where they want to take damage from. Lightning Strike, not only the second fastest attack in the core game, but also able to start messing with your enemy's energy so you can reduce their energy levels. At 3 damage, it's a pretty good short range weapon. Also, it synergizes with the other 2 at range 2. Finally, there's the Super Sancho for stealing other people's stuff. Take their sponsor cards from them as much as you possibly can. Combined with Damage Spike, both Lightning Strike and Super Sancho benefit. Excellent combo. For optimal damage output, when using Thunderstrike missiles, go for Paint Gun, and then either Pill Popper or Point Defense missiles. These give you good range overlap, and in the case of Pill Popper, optimal damage. In case of Point Defense missiles, a closer minimum range, and also more tactical strategic options. The other reason for this grouping is taking an Energy 3 weapon with Energy 1 weapons means that you're optimizing your chances of being able to fire maximal firepower. As with their weapons, the support units for Thunder Happy are mid-range speed, and there's not a lot more else you can say about them really. At speed 146, the Orbital Strike is fast enough to hit up King Wolf's Sentinel combat support unit prior to them having a chance to do anything in the combat phase. So you can snipe them before they can snipe you.
Thunder Happy Pharmaceuticals, putting a pep in your step. Thank you for watching, have a good one, and take care. Bye bye.